Yeah, you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new first wave of 6-inch DC Multiverse Aquaman movie figures from Mattel. Now these figures come packaged in the same style that we've been seeing with all the modern Multiverse figures. You've got the blue box up at the top, you've got the names of the characters and the Aquaman movie logo. Then you have the figures clearly displayed, and off to the side you have images of each of the characters, and then down below you've got the DC Multiverse logo. On the sides of the packaging you again just have images of each of the characters, and then on the back of the packaging you have the images of each of the characters in the wave that you need to get in order to complete the Collect and Connect figure, which is a trench warrior. And then up at the top you again have images of each of the characters and brief bios. So we've got Black Manta, Mira, Orm, and Aquaman. Alright, let's get these open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figures outside the packaging along with their other contents. Now first of all, each figure does come with a piece for the Trench Warrior Collect and Connect figure. So Mira here comes with the arms for the Trench Warrior, Aquaman comes with the right leg, Black Manta comes with the torso section and the head, and then Orb comes with the left leg. Okay, so putting the Collect and Connect figure together is pretty easy. First thing you want to do is just snap on the legs. Make sure you have the left leg on the left side and the right leg on the right side, and they should just snap right into place. And then same thing with the arms. Make sure you've got the right arm on the right side and the left arm on the left side. And because he's only got three fingers, actually I think I did that backwards. You want to make sure the fin piece is pointing towards the back there. Snap these into place, and again they should just snap right in. And then the final thing is the head. It just connects with the ball joint, and you may have to twist and turn a little bit, but again it should snap in there pretty easily. Okay, and here's the figure fully assembled, and overall I like the look of this guy. I don't know much about him, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I think he looks pretty grotesque. Looks like a sea creature of some kind, you know, like the creature from the Black Lagoon type look. He's got these bones that stick out on his arms here, and this is done with a hard plastic. And I like the sculpting detail with his this rib cage that has, you know, he's got on, I don't know if this is supposed to be armor or what have you, or bone, but looks pretty good. And then he's got these fin pieces, which is done with a pretty hard plastic, and same with the ones on the back. He's got this one that sticks out his butt and is pretty long, and then he's got some additional ones that come out of his lower leg. Overall paint applications aren't too bad. I like the paint applications on the head sculpt, again with the sculpting detail there with all the veins and everything, and you've got the pinkish color and then this dark purple type color. And I like the teeth. I like the sculpting with the teeth there in the mouth. The jaw is actually articulated so you can open his mouth. It doesn't really seem to have any eyes, or at least not any that are terribly noticeable. And he does have a tongue inside there, which is done with a dark red. He's got the claws, like I mentioned, he's only got 3 fingers, and then he's got the claws on the end, and then he's only got 4 toes, and again he's got some claws painted with black there on his feet. Okay, now for the actual figures themselves, and we'll start off looking at the Aquaman figure. And I like the head sculpt overall. I think it's an improvement over the head sculpt that we saw with the Justice League Aquaman figure. I do think it looks more like the actor. He's got the scar over the left eyebrow, and he's got the beard with the long brown hair and everything, so I think that looks good. He's kind of pale, his skin is kind of pale, but otherwise I think the head sculpt actually looks pretty good. And then he's wearing this orange shirt that's kind of a tribute to the classic Aquaman look. And overall I think that looks good. The chainmail is sculpted on there. My only real complaint here is they didn't paint these shoulder joints the same color as the rest of the shirt, so it does stick out rather badly. And then he's got the bright green colored gloves, and these are brighter green than the pants, so I believe that's probably supposed to be accurate. I haven't seen it close enough in the movie yet to know for sure, but definitely this is a lighter green on his gloves here than on his actual pants. And then he's got the little fins that stick out there, and he's got some sculpting detail there, so that all looks pretty good. And he's got this belt piece with the A symbol, and this is a separate piece made with a rubber material. And then he's got the darker green on the legs, have a little bit of marbleization effect going on up here on the upper leg, but overall I think it looks good. And you've got some texturing sculpted on there, so that's nice. And then he's got the lighter green again on his shoes, and it looks like, you know, seaweed or something. I don't know, something that you would see underwater. And again, it is done with a lighter green, and that all that is sculpted on there. It's not just painted, so I do like that detailing. And the only accessory the Aquaman figure comes with is this trident, and so you've got the 3 tips up here, and then you've also got a point here on the bottom. And this is done with an orange plastic, which does have a red wash to it, so they did add some extra paint detail to this. And the trident is taller than the figure. It stands taller than the actual figure itself, and he can only hold it in the right hand. The left hand is sculpted with a closed fist, so he can only put it in the right, but he does hold it nice and tight. Next up, we've got the Black Manta figure, and this is probably the coolest looking figure of the 4. It's done with all black. Now you've got some glossy black mixed in with this flat black, which I think looks good, and then you've got a little bit of red like here on his chest, and then of course his eyes are red. Again, on the helmet you've got this glossier black here in the middle, and then the flat black here on the rest of the helmet. And the tanks on the back here all black, and then you've again got some more red here down the middle, so I think that looks pretty good. I like the sculpting detail. You've got these hoses that come out from the back piece that go to his arms, and you have hose that also goes here to his midsection. And I like the sculpting detail with the chest armor and everything. Looks like a scuba diving suit with a kind of an extensive helmet on it, so I think that's in keeping with the movie. We've only seen Black Manta briefly in the trailer and such, but seems like it's pretty accurate. Now he's got this blade on the left hand that's not removable, and it's done with just a rubber type plastic, so it's probably going to come out of the packaging a little bit warped. And again, you can't remove it or anything. And then he comes with, the only accessory he comes with is a sword, and there's no place to store the sword on his back or anything, so you either have to have him hold it in his right hand. Again, like with Aquaman, his left hand is closed fisted, so you can only put it in the right. He does hold it nice and tight, and it's done with that black, that glossy black with a little bit of red on it. So overall, I like the detailing. The eyes are done with solid red. It would have been cool if they had done the same thing they did with the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive version of Black Manta with the translucent red eyes, but as it is, it's just a solid red color. Doesn't look bad, it's just not as cool as the San Diego Comic-Con version. Next up we have Mira. Now Mira just comes with a spear weapon, which is done with a gray plastic, not a lot of paint detail. We've seen similar weapons. I think maybe the previous Mira they did for the Justice League line came with the same weapon. And then she also comes with an alternate pair of hands that has the water sculpted on them with the translucent plastic, so it looks like she's shooting water out of her hands. Again, I think we saw that with the one that they did for the Justice League movie. Now for the figure itself, I think this head sculpt is definitely an improvement over the one we saw with Justice League, the Amazon exclusive version. Her outfit that she's wearing is done in a blue color as opposed to green. It's kind of a light blue, and it's got metal paint to it, so I like that. And you've got the sculpting detail with the chainmail or whatever, you know, the scales or whatever it's supposed to be. So I think that's good. The hair's got some wash, so it's red with a black wash in it, and then she's got the gold tiara she's wearing. The eyes are a little bit crooked, but still I think this head sculpt is an improvement over the one we saw with the Amazon exclusive for Justice League. She's got some gold on her arms, and then she's got that Aquaman A symbol on her midsection there for a belt buckle. And you've got some purple and some gray and some lighter blue little dots painted throughout to give it added texturing there at the midsection, so I think that looks pretty good as well. So while not a perfect figure, I do think it is an improvement over the Mira figure we got for the Justice League. And unlike Aquaman and Black Manta, Mira actually comes with 2 grip hands, so you can put the trident or the spear, in either hand, and then switching out the hands is easy. You just pop off the hand, you got the little ball peg joint there, and then you just plug in the hand that you want to replace it with, and you just push it in there. And then again, these alternate hands have the water shooting out, so it mimics her ability. And then the final figure is Orb, and overall I think he looks pretty good. I like the sculpting detail with the mask. Now these things that stick out on the side are done with a rubber material, so you don't have to worry about them snapping off or anything. The fins on the top of his helmet are also done with a rubber material. I like the metallic silver that they used, and the mask piece is actually a little bit different shade than the rest of the helmet. And then he's got the red on the eyes. Skin tone's pretty good. He's got this cape, which is not removable, and it's made with that vinyl type material, but I like the texturing on it and everything. It's done with a gray type color. So I do like that. And then he's got, for the rest of the outfit, again, like with the others, you've got all the sculpting detail with the scales or the chainmail, whatever you want to call it, throughout the figure. So I like that. And you've got the metallic silver, and then you've got this darker purple. You've got this lighter purple here at the midsection, and then you also have some black kind of mixed in with the purple throughout the figure for added detail. Now the only accessory that he comes with is a trident, and again you've got a wash effect, so you've got the silver and then you've got this purple wash up here at the top and the bottom, so I think that looks pretty good. And like with Aquaman and Black Manta, he only has a grip hand on the right hand, so he can only hold the weapon there, but he does hold it nice and tight. Okay, so for the figures, Mira is the shortest of the bunch, and she comes in at about 6.5 inches tall. Now Orb is pretty much the same height as Aquaman, however with his helmet, with that fin on the top, he's a little bit taller, so with the fin he comes in right about 7 inches. And then Aquaman is just a little bit under 7 inches. Black Manta is taller than Aquaman, and he comes in closer to the 7-inch mark. And then the Trench Warrior, the Collect and Connect figure, comes in, if you count to the top of his fins, just a little bit over 7 inches, so he's the tallest of the bunch. Okay, and just for a couple comparisons, here's a look at the Justice League movie Mira figure that was the Amazon exclusive, along with the new one. And again, I do think the head sculpt is an improvement, looks much better, more like the actress with this new figure than the previous one. Now for Black Manta, here's a comparison with that San Diego Comic-Con exclusive version that's a comic book based Black Manta. And again, I like this new figure, I like the look of it, but it would have been cool if they had incorporated something similar with the transparent eyes like on that Comic-Con version. Okay, and then for Aquaman, here's a comparison with the other movie Aquaman figures that Mattel has done. So we've got the Aquaman figure from Batman vs. Superman. Then we've got the shirtless Aquaman from Justice League, which was a Walmart exclusive. And then we have the regular Justice League Aquaman figure along with the new one. And again, I think out of all these head sculpts, this new one looks the most like the actor. And here's a comparison of the new Aquaman figure along with the other Multiverse Justice League movie figures. And then finally, for one more comparison, here's a look at the comic book based Multiverse Aquaman figure. Again, this was the one released in the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive set. These two are about the same height, and they both incorporate the more improved articulation that we've been starting to see with Multiverse figures. Okay, so for articulation, it's pretty much the same across the board with all 4 figures. Mira is a little bit more limited with the legs, which I'll show you in a second, and I'll also go over the articulation with the Collect and Connect figure. But with the 3 male figures, it's pretty much the same, so I'll demonstrate with Aquaman here. So he can turn his head to the left and to the right with no problem. He does have the long hair, but it's done with a rubber type material. He really doesn't get much forward movement or back movement with the head, and that's really just the joint itself. It's not because of the hair, and he really doesn't have much in the way of head pivot either. With the arms, you can get the arm out good there, and you've got good rotation there at the shoulder. You get the bicep swivel. You only get a single hinged elbow with these. You do get rotation with the elbows though. You have rotation with the wrist, and you have hinges on the hand, so you have up and down movement there. You get an ab crunch joint, but really can't crunch forward too much there, about only that much, and then can look back about that much. You also get a waist swivel. With the legs, you do have that improved articulation there. You no longer have those side hinge joints, so you can do the splits pretty good, and you can get the leg forward good, and you can do the leg out and back. You get a thigh swivel with this one. You get a double jointed knee with him, and then with the feet, you've got hinges, so up and down movement, and you also get ankle pivot and 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Now with Mira, I just want to note with the legs, you do not get double hinge knees with her, so she can only bend her knee that much. And then with the feet, you just get the hinges, so you get up and down movement, and you do get some rotation with the feet, but you don't really get ankle pivot with this one. And then finally with the Collect and Connect figure, articulation is pretty much the same as the others with this one as well. You do get the added articulated jaw as I mentioned before, and then with the head, you get some up and down movement, but not a whole lot again. But you can kind of, you turn it to the left and the right, and it does kind of pivot to the left and the right as well. Then with the arms, it's the same as the others. You get good movement there at the shoulder. You can rotate fine. You get a bicep swivel. You only get the single hinged elbow. You get rotation there at the elbow. You get rotation with the hands. You've got the hinges. You do get a midsection joint, but you really don't get much in the way of movement forward or back, even less so than the regular figures. And then you do have a waist swivel. With the legs, he can do the splits looks really good. He can get his leg forward about that much, and then he can do his leg out and back. He does have a thigh swivel. He's got a double jointed knee, so pretty good bending there at the knee. And then with the feet, the ankle joints are up high, so you've got back and forth movement, but you don't really get ankle pivot. You do have some rotation there though, so you can rotate the feet, and then you do have 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. So overall, definitely I'm seeing some improvements in this line over previous movie lines that Mattel has done. I think the face sculpt for both Aquaman and Mira look much better than their previous versions with like the Justice League. I think the Black Manta figure is the coolest looking figure overall, and we are seeing some improvements in articulation. Things like double hinged knees and ankle pivot, and the more improved looking crotch section I think is definitely nice. However, when you compare it to other action figure superhero lines, it is still a little bit lacking in the articulation. The fact that we're still getting single hinged elbows and things like that is a little disappointing. But if you're a fan of the Aquaman movie, I think these are worth checking out. Now these figures have started to hit select e-tailers and should probably start hitting physical stores within the next few weeks. We'll have a full image gallery up at toynewseye.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment, let me know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel by hitting that button down below. You should also hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And of course, you can also follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I have links to all those in the video description as well. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.